Brought to you by Thomas Allgaier and Frennis. This edition highlights key LinkedIn posts on social selling in weeks 5 and 6. Frennis supports enterprises with enablement and insights, providing data-driven sales intelligence, flexible support, team augmentation, and data quality improvements so social engagement turns into measurable pipeline. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are getting super specific, laser-focused on calendar weeks 5 and 6 of 2026. And I have to say, if you've been tracking the social selling systems framework, you've probably felt the ground shifting.
It really has shifted. I mean, we are so far past talking about just posting for likes or, building a personal brand in that vague sense.
Right.
If you look at the stack of sources we've got in front of us, the theme is it's undeniable. It's all about operational rigor.
Operational rigor. I like that. It sounds less like a fluffy marketing exercise and more like an actual business process.
Exactly. It's the difference between social selling being, a lucky side hustle.
Something you do in your spare time.
Yeah, something you do when you have 5 minutes. And it being a scalable, predictable system for business, we're really seeing that move from just visibility to, viability.
And we have a huge stack of insights to get through. But to keep it organized for everyone listening, we've clustered everything into 3 main themes. First up, we're going to tackle the massive shift in employee advocacy.
Right. The whole mandate model is dying, and we need to talk about what this new ownership model really looks like.
And we have to get under the hood of the LinkedIn algorithm.
Oh, yeah. We're going to unpack the new 360 brew model. I mean, this is the 2026 reality, and honestly, if you're not literate in how this works, you're at a competitive disadvantage. We'll get into dwell time, the save economy, all of it.
And finally, we'll break down the social selling engine. This is the part that connects everything to revenue, moving from content to conversation to cash. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into that first cluster, employee advocacy.
Let's do it. So the anchor for this whole conversation really comes from Richard Vanderbloom. He draws this incredibly sharp line between 2 types of employees. He calls them volunteers and hostages.
Hostages? I mean, that's a pretty aggressive term.
It is, but if you've worked in a big corporate marketing department...
You know exactly what he means.
Oh, absolutely. It's the compliance model. The drill marketing writes some sanitized press release, sends it out in an email and says, everyone post this at 9:00 a.m. sharp.
And the big rule is, do not change a single comma.
Right. And then you look at your feed and it's 10 people posting the exact same robotic sentence at the exact same time. It's just creepy.
It's the uncanny valley of marketing.
And Richard's data shows this is a fatal error. It kills trust. And without trust, you get 0 authentic engagement. He shared a stat that just hammers this home. 83% of employees are more engaged when they're simply encouraged rather than forced.
Okay, that makes sense intuitively.
But here's the metric that matters for the CFOs listening. Employee shared content gets 8 times more engagement than brand content.
8 times? Wow, that's nearly an order of magnitude.
It is, but, and this is the huge caveat, that 8x multiplier only kicks in if the content feels human. If it smells like a compliance task, the audience just scrolls right past. Richard's whole point is you can't algorithmically fake personal belief.
So if we know the hostage model fails, why do so many companies still do it? Is it just laziness?
I think it's mostly a fear of losing control. But Paige Andrews and Emily Neal suggest the problem really starts at the top. They flag senior leadership absence as the #1 red flag.
So a classic do as I say, not as I do. The bosses tell everyone to post, but their own profiles are just ghost towns.
That's it, exactly. If the C-suite isn't visible, the whole thing feels hollow. But there is some good news here from week 6. Emily Neal highlighted a really positive trend. 79.5% of senior leaders are now actually involved in these programs.
That's a 40% jump from last year, right?
Yep.
A 40% jump. That's significant. It signals a shift from this is just a marketing task to this is a strategic priority.
It has to be.
And Iulia Splotska added a really critical nuance here. She argues that a program's success isn't just about having it, it's about who holds the reins. If the CEO and the chief people officer are leading by example, that gives everyone else permission to engage.
But if you delegate it to a junior marketing manager...
It's dead on arrival. It just becomes another chore to ignore in your inbox.
Okay, so let's say you've got buy-in. Leaders are posting. Why do programs still crash and burn? Because Patrice Lerma talks about this 6-month wall.
The 6-month wall is so real. You have the big launch, excitement is high, everyone posts for a few weeks, and then by month 6, it just flatlines. Patrice says it's almost always a recognition issue. People stop doing things when they feel invisible.
So what's the fix? Are we talking bonuses? Gift cards?
Surprisingly, no. Her advice is much simpler. Public shout-outs in team meetings and, this is crucial, leadership commenting first on employee posts. That makes perfect sense. If my CEO comments on my post, you can bet I'm going to post again next week.
It's immediate validation, but if you want a more systematic approach to this, something a bit more engineered, you have to look at the case study Emma Paginen shared about Matt Miner. This was just brilliant.
This was the scoreboard idea, right?
Yes. So Matt didn't just ask people to post. He actually built a custom employee advocacy scoreboard. He used Directus, which is a headless CMS, and then connected it with Zapier to automate all the tracking.
I love when we get into the tech stack.
Yeah.
So he basically gamified it.
He did, but in a way that wasn't toxic. It just created this friendly rivalry. People would check the board, see where they ranked, and that sparked so much organic activity. It wasn't about hitting quota. It was about owning their brand and seeing how they stacked up.
And that ownership translates into hard currency. We can't skip Yvonne Boten's contribution. She used her 4C methodology, clarify, communicate, connect, craft, and the pilot she ran generated, what was it, 370,000 pounds in earned media value.
And that's the takeaway. We are not chasing likes for a dopamine hit. We're chasing earned media value that would otherwise cost a fortune in ads. 370K from a pilot is not a small number.
Okay, let's pivot. We have the people motivated. They're owners, not hostages. But now we have to talk about the machine they're feeding. This brings us to theme 2, algorithm literacy. And in 2026, we are dealing with a new beast called 360 Brew.
360 Brew, it sounds like a cool coffee shop, doesn't it? But Lorenz von Seher did a great breakdown. It's the central AI model LinkedIn is using now, a massive 150 billion parameter model. And the key difference for 2026 is that it analyzes content semantically.
Okay, so unpack semantically for those of us who aren't data scientists.
It just means it understands context and meaning, not just keywords. In the old days, you could stuff the word sales into a post 10 times and the algorithm would think, great, this is about sales.
Right.
Now, 360 Brew reads like a human. It gets the nuance. And because of that, the whole metric hierarchy has flipped, as Lorenz points out. Dwell time is king.
Dwell time. So the AI is literally holding a stopwatch on our posts.
Essentially, yeah. It is measuring how many seconds someone spends reading your post, not just if they hit the like button.
Which explains why clickbait is finally dying. If I click your link, realize it's garbage, and bounce back to my feed in 2 seconds, that's a negative signal.
A huge negative signal. That's a bounce. And 360 Brew hates it. The new currency of relevance is saves and shares. A save is the ultimate compliment you can give the algorithm. It tells the AI, this content is so valuable, I need to come back to it later.
So how do we actually engineer a post for saves?
Yeah.
I know Bianca Kolitz had a playbook for this.
She did. She calls it the spick-settle strategy.
Which is German for cheat sheet.
Exactly. To get a save, you have to solve one specific problem entirely within the post itself. You give the reader a mini guide, a checklist, a framework. No one saves a happy Monday, go get 'em post. Yeah. But if you write 5 steps to fix your SDR handoff, people save that. It's a utility. It's a resource.
And Stefan Wetzel added the visual component to that, right? For PDFs or carousels, the first page has to be like a magazine cover. It has to stop the scroll.
Yes. If that visual hook isn't there, you lose the dwell time instantly, and 360 Brew just buries the post.
Now, there's another metric that sparked a bit of a debate this week. The SSI, the Social Selling Index. Is it a vanity metric, or does it actually matter?
It's a fierce debate. Margot Ivanenko came with the math, and it's pretty stark. She basically sees SSI as a visibility cap.
What do you mean by that?
Her analysis shows that if your SSI is high, say between 70 and 80, the algorithm kind of uncaps your networking. You can send 180 to 220 connection requests a week.
And if your score is low, like below 50,
you're in the penalty box. You're limited to maybe 30 to 50 requests. That's a 4 to 6 times difference in your ability to build a network just based on that score.
That is a massive throttle. But Michael Yellon pushed back on this.
He did, and I think his perspective is a healthy one. He argues that SSI measures intention and platform usage, not business results. You can have an SSI of 90, play the game perfectly, and still sell absolutely nothing if your strategy is wrong.
That's a fair point. A high score means you're good at using LinkedIn, not necessarily good at closing deals.
But, and this is a big but, you can't just ignore the platform mechanics. James Keel added a warning about consistency that ties right back to 360 Brew. He warns against niche drifting.
Confusing the AI.
Exactly. The AI builds a profile on you based on your niche pillars. If you post about B2B sales today, crypto tomorrow, and then share cat videos on Wednesday, the AI has no idea who to show your content to, so it just defaults to showing it to no one.
So consistency is the foundation.
Got it.
Okay, let's move to the penthouse. Theme 3, the social selling engine. How do we turn all this literacy into actual revenue?
This is where we leave the influencer mindset behind and really enter the commercial mindset. Niels van Melk laid out a content program for 2026 that's purely research-based. It completely eliminates the "what do I post today" problem.
No more guessing games.
None. His workflow starts with interviewing your top 10 customers. You find their actual pain points in their own words. Then you go interview your own subject matter experts internally to solve those specific pains.
And that becomes your content roadmap.
It's your entire roadmap. You turn those SME interviews into articles, videos, LinkedIn posts. But here's the engine part. You run that content organically for 3 months. You see what resonates. Then and only then do you amplify the winners with thought leader ads.
It's a validation funnel. You don't waste ad budget until you know the organic message actually works.
It's so smart. But let's not pretend this is easy. Christian Kras came in with a serious reality check for anyone who thinks social selling is passive income.
He called it slow manual labor. I think a lot of people needed to hear that.
He totally debunked the magic pill myth, the routine of the top 1% of social sellers. It's a grind. Connect with 15, 25 ideal buyers daily, comment on 10 buyer posts, and send 10, 15 personalized video DMs every single day.
15 personal videos a day. That's not a copy-paste job. That's real production time.
It is. But that is the operational rigor we talked about at the top. It's the difference between hoping for a lead and actually prospecting for one.
It's not happening in a vacuum. Mia's Lockdown made the point that this digital grind actually makes the analog channels work better.
The LinkedIn and phone strategy, I love this. People always try to pit them against each other. Bink's point is the goal of social is often just familiarity. So when you finally make that call, the prospect thinks, wait, I know that name. I saw their post.
It just warms up the entire interaction.
It does. But there's a hidden layer of sales conversations that Brooke B. Sells brought up. This idea of pre-purchase intent. This really struck me.
Oh, this is huge.
It's huge for anyone in customer success or community management. Her data shows that 8 out of 10 social conversations actually reflect purchase consideration before a sale happens.
But they look like support questions to the untrained eye.
Exactly. Someone asks, hey, does this integrate with Salesforce, or how does the reporting export work? Those look like support tickets. But Brooke says they are buying signals. If you treat them like care tickets, you solve a problem. If you treat them as sales opportunities, you uncover revenue.
That requires a massive mindset shift for whoever's managing the social inbox. They need to be sales aware, not just polite.
And they need to be human. Which brings us to the last point. With 360 Brew being an AI and everyone using ChatGPT, the human element is now the premium asset. Carolina Posma offers what she calls the Postavit.ai system. It's a 50-50 rule.
50% AI, 50% you.
Use AI for the structure, the speed, the first draft. There's no shame in that. But the stories, the weird anecdotes, your specific voice, that has to be 50% you. If you go 100% AI, you just get ignored.
And on that note, Franz Wegner gave us a hilarious but very tactical tip to avoid sounding like a bot.
The ban on the rocket ship emoji.
It's the dead giveaway. Every time.
It really is. Franz says you have to explicitly prompt your AI to remove those filler phrases, those Floskeln, like in a world where, and to ban the emojis that just scream, I was written by a large language model.
If you don't strip that stuff out, you're telling the reader you didn't care enough to write it yourself.
And if you don't care, why should they?
That's the bottom line. So let's recap the operational rigor here.
Right. We need employee advocacy that moves from hostage to owner. We need to master 360 Brew by optimizing for dwell time and saves. And we need a daily engine that combines manual outreach with smart research-backed content.
That's the system. The winners in 2026 are the ones who treat this with the same discipline they treat their CRM. It's not a random act of marketing anymore.
The lazy era of social selling is officially over. The bar has been raised.
It really has. Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked a lot about dwell time and how it's the metric the algorithm loves. But let's flip that for a second. As a seller, are you giving your prospects' content enough of your dwell time?
That's an interesting way to look at it.
We're so focused on getting them to stop scrolling on our posts. But maybe the best way to understand your buyer isn't to pitch them, but to actually stop and read what they're writing, to understand their context. If the AI is prioritizing listening, maybe we should too.
Deep work, not just broad reach. I like that.
If you enjoyed this episode, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on account-based marketing, field marketing, channel marketing, MarTech, go-to-market, and AI in B2B marketing.
Thanks for listening. Go build those systems.
And don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the feed.